The trillion-dollar lie we keep telling. Black women entrepreneurs, welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something with you that came from a conversation I had with Katrina Garrett, a woman who is not just talking about economic transformation, she is building it. Katrina is actively dismantling the barriers that keep Black women entrepreneurs locked out of the capital, networks, and resources that could change not just their lives, but the entire economic landscape of North America. She is a force, a visionary, and someone who refuses to accept the narrative that Black women should be grateful for crumbs when we are baking the entire pie. Her work is rooted in a truth that many of us know but rarely see reflected in the headlines. Black women are starting businesses at record rates, yet we are still being left behind when it comes to the resources, capital, and support we need to truly thrive. Katrina's insights challenged me, and I believe they will challenge you too, because what she revealed is not just about entrepreneurship. It's about how we define strength, how we navigate survival, and how we can finally step into the softness and abundance we deserve. Let me ask you something. When you hear that Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in North America, what do you feel? Pride? Hope? Maybe a little bit of both. And you should, because between 2017 and 2022, Black female owned businesses in the United States increased by 71.6%. That's not a typo. 71.6%. We are outpacing every other demographic group in business creation. We are launching companies, building brands, creating jobs, and doing it all while navigating a world that was not designed to support us. We are the embodiment of resilience, innovation, and sheer determination. But here's the part that doesn't make the headlines. Here's the part that Katrina Garrett wants us to sit with, to really feel. Despite this explosive growth, Black women founders in North America receive only 0.2% of all venture capital funding in Canada. 0.2%. And more than 77% of Black women entrepreneurs are forced to self fund their businesses, often up to $100,000. Let that sink in. Really let it sink in. We are building empires with our own savings, our own credit cards, our own sacrifices, while the venture capital world invests billions elsewhere. Billions. Not in us, not in our ideas, not in our potential. This is not a story about lack of ambition. This is not a story about lack of capability. This is a story about systemic barriers that have been in place for generations. Barriers that tell us we are not worth the investment, that our ideas are too risky, that our networks are too small, that our dreams are too big. And yet, we keep building, we keep creating, we keep showing up because that's what we've been taught to do: survive, hustle, carry the weight, wear the cape. Be the strong Black woman who never breaks, never bends, never asks for help. But what if I told you that this hustle, this constant grinding, this self funding out of necessity is costing us more than we realize? What if I told you that the funding gap facing Black women entrepreneur is not just a loss for us, but a loss for the entire economy? According to the research Katrina shared, if Black women owned businesses reach revenue parity with their white or male counterparts, it would add hundreds of billions, potentially trillions of dollars to the North American economy. Trillions. That's not just our wealth being left on the table. That's everyone's wealth. That's jobs. That's innovation. That's generational change. That's the future we could be building if the systems in place actually supported us. Let me paint you a picture. Over 1,500 Black women founders across Canada were surveyed, and what they found was both inspiring and heartbreaking. 63% of these women had to self fund up to $100,000. 63%. Nearly two-thirds of Black women entrepreneurs are funding their own dreams because no one else will. And 43% could not secure any external funding at all. Not from banks, not from investors, not from anyone. They were told no over and over again until they stopped asking and started sacrificing. And the barriers they faced were not just financial, they were systemic, deeply embedded, and suffocating. Limited access to networks, higher loan denial rates, the challenge of balancing childcare with business demands. Many of these women relied on personal savings, drained their retirement accounts, maxed out credit cards, built flexible businesses to accommodate their families, and sought out the few available support organizations and co working spaces with childcare. They did what they had to do. They survived. But survival is not the same as thriving. Survival is not success. Survival is simply not dying. And here's where I want to bring this back to the heart of soft girl era, because this conversation is not just about funding. It's about what happens when we are forced to carry everything on our own. It's about what happens when we are told over and over again that we have to be twice as good to get half as much. It's about what happens when we internalize the belief that asking for help is weakness, that rest is laziness, that softness is surrender. We become entrepreneurs out of necessity, not just opportunity. We become our own investors because no one else will. We become our own cheerleaders, our own safety nets, our own everything. And we do it with grace. We do it with grit. We do it because we have no other choice. But what if we did have a choice? What if the systems that are supposed to support innovation, that are supposed to reward hard work and brilliant ideas, actually showed up for us? What if investors looked at a Black woman founder and saw not risk, but opportunity? What if policymakers understood that closing the funding gap is not charity, it's economic strategy? What if corporations realized that supporting Black women owned businesses is not just good optics, it's good business? What if we stopped celebrating resilience as if it were a substitute for equity? Let me tell you about another reality. According to the Brookings Institute, Black female owned businesses in the United States increased by 71.6% from 2017 to 2022. That's the highest growth rate of any demographic group. We are leading the charge. We are the future of entrepreneurship. And yet, despite this explosive growth, Black women owned businesses still represent only 3.3% of employer businesses. 3.3%. Meanwhile, Black people make up 14.4% of the population. That gap, that massive gap, is not about ability, it's about access, it's about capital, it's about who gets funded and who gets overlooked. Black women are leveraging community support, digital platforms, sheer willpower, and faith to launch and scale businesses, often in the face of limited institutional backing. We are doing it anyway. We are building anyway. But the underrepresentation in employer businesses signals that many of our ventures remain small scale, not because we lack vision, but because we lack resources. We are building businesses that could employ hundreds, thousands, but we are stuck at solo or micro level operations because no one will invest in us at scale. And then there's this: the Highland Project found that 88% of Black women reported worsening economic conditions After the global health crisis, 88%. That means the vast majority of us are postponing buying homes, buying cars, starting families, investing in our futures because the economic ground beneath us is unstable. We are delaying life decisions because we cannot afford to take the risk. And when Black women are economically unstable, it is a bellwether for the broader economy. Our well being is connected to everyone's well being. When we thrive, communities thrive. When we are held back, everyone is held back. Historically, access to stable employment and education were key drivers of Black middle class mobility. But recent shifts in policy and corporate culture and economic priorities threaten these avenues. And as those doors close, Black women are turning to entrepreneurship, not just as a path to wealth, but as a path to survival. We are building businesses because the traditional systems have failed us. And yet, even in entrepreneurship, we are met with the same barriers, the same biases, the same closed doors. So, what does this have to do with your soft girl era? Everything, because stepping into your soft girl era is not about abandoning your ambition. It's not about giving up on your dreams. It's about refusing to carry the weight of broken systems on your back. It's about recognizing that you deserve support, you deserve funding, you deserve rest, you deserve softness, and you deserve to build your empire without sacrificing your peace, your health, your joy, or your sanity. It's about redefining what strength looks like. Strength is not self funding $100,000 because no one else will invest in you. Strength is demanding that the systems change. Strength is not working yourself into exhaustion to prove your worth. Strength is knowing your worth and refusing to settle for anything less. Strength is not wearing the superwoman cape until it suffocates you. Strength is taking the cape off, folding it up, and saying, I am done carrying what was never mine to carry. Katrina Garrett is doing this work because she knows that Black women entrepreneurs are not the problem. The systems are the problem. And the solution is not for us to work harder, to hustle more, to sacrifice more. The solution is for the systems to change, for investors to show up, for policymakers to act, for corporations to invest, for all of us to demand better, to expect better, to create better. And here's what I want you to take away from this conversation. First, the funding gap facing Black women entrepreneurs is real. It is systemic and it is costing all of us trillions of dollars in unrealized economic potential. Second, self funding and resilience are not sustainable solutions. We need coordinated action from investors, policymakers, and corporations to close the gap. And third, unlocking the full potential of Black women owned businesses would not only transform individual lives, it would transform the entire economy, create jobs, build wealth, and change the trajectory of entire communities. But beyond the data, beyond the statistics, beyond the research, I want you to feel this. I want you to know that your dreams are not too big. Your ideas are not too risky. Your worth is not determined by how much you can carry on your own. You deserve support. You deserve funding. You deserve rest. You deserve softness. And you deserve to build the life and the business you want without apologizing for needing help, without feeling guilty for setting boundaries, without sacrificing your peace to prove your value. So here's my question for you, and I want you to really sit with this. I want you to let it settle into your spirit. How will you use your influence, whether as an investor, a policymaker, an entrepreneur, or an ally, to actively break down the barriers that Black women entrepreneurs face? And what concrete step can you take this week, not next month, not next year, but this week, to help close the funding and opportunity gap? Maybe it's investing in a Black woman owned business. Maybe it's amplifying a Black woman founder's voice on your platform. Maybe it's advocating for policy change in your community. Maybe it's mentoring, connecting, opening doors that have been closed. Maybe it's simply refusing to accept the narrative that we have to do it all on our own. Maybe it's challenging the investors in your network to look beyond their biases. Maybe it's supporting organizations that are doing the work to level the playing field. Maybe it's having the uncomfortable conversations about why 0.2% is not just unacceptable, it's an economic catastrophe. Because here's the truth: we are not meant to survive, we are meant to thrive. We are not meant to carry everything, we are meant to be supported. We are not meant to hustle until we break, we are meant to rest, to heal, to be soft, to be whole, to be free. And when we step into that truth, when we demand that the systems change, when we refuse to settle for anything less than what we deserve, that's when the real transformation begins. Not just for us, but for everyone. Not just for Black women, but for the entire economy, the entire society, the entire future. This is not just about funding. This is about justice. This is about equity. This is about recognizing that when Black women win, we all win. When Black women are funded, innovation flourishes. When Black women are supported, communities are strengthened. When Black women are free to build without barriers, the entire economy benefits. This is not charity. This is strategy. This is investment. This is the smartest economic decision we could make. So I'm calling you in. I'm calling you up. I'm calling you to action. Stop waiting for someone else to fix this. Stop assuming that the systems will change on their own. They won't. Change happens when people demand it, when people build it, when people refuse to accept the status quo. Change happens when investors say yes instead of no, when policymakers create pathways instead of roadblocks, when corporations partner instead of performatively post. Change happens when all of us decide that enough is enough. And to the Black women listening, I see you. I honor you. I celebrate you. You are not alone in this fight. You are not crazy for wanting more. You are not greedy for demanding equity. You are not weak for needing support. You are brilliant. You are capable. You are worthy. And you deserve every resource, every opportunity, every dollar, every door that has been opened for everyone else. Do not shrink. Do not settle. Do not silence yourself. Your voice matters. Your vision matters. Your business matters. And your softness, your rest, your joy, your peace, they matter too. This is your invitation. This is your permission. This is your reminder that you are enough exactly as you are. And the world needs what you are building. The world needs your brilliance, your innovation, your leadership. So take off the cape, set down the weight, step into your soft girl era, and watch what happens when you finally give yourself permission to thrive.